All of the NBA 2K27 news you need to know is in today's video. We'll be talking female my players, my career eras, new rec maps, new park and stage locations, new crew ranked mode, everything gameplay and builder related, of course, and even an NBA 2K27 demo that is coming out. Yes, a demo, and much more. We're gonna get into all the details in today's video, so make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button for me giving y'all this information the second it drops. And let's go ahead and get into this video. What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Henry, aka DoubleH, back at it with yet another banger. And hey, I'm just getting straight into the news. We are wasting zero time in today's video. The first news is that there is an NBA 2K27 demo. Yeah, you heard that right. They're calling it the NBA 2K HQ app. So yeah, it's not going to be like it was back in the day. It's going to be an app. But I think it's better than nothing, because you want to know why? We're going to be able to make our builds or lab builds a week before early access and 2 weeks before the game officially releases, which is absolutely insane. And they're saying that we're going to be able to upload these builds straight to our consoles or our PC using a QR code when the game comes out, so we can actually save these builds. And now if you want to pause and look at the actual app itself, it is leaking, you know, some first look at some builds, some badges, some build names, a couple other things. You can also use this app to chat with your crew and to scan your face and to also log in for daily spin rewards and other stuff like that. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that they showcased in this little crew trailer, or not crew trailer, this HQ app trailer thing. Very interesting. Honestly, I think this is a W. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Being able to create builds and lab builds a week before the game, making it maybe even more and more likely that we don't mess up our first build. I think that's gotta be a W for 2K. So there's city, my player, gameplay, and my career news. We're going to start with city news. This was the first paragraph they wrote about the city, and they say in here that there's female my players, which we'll be talking about later more in the video. So yes, female my players are in 2K27, and they're calling it the co-ed city because there's two genders now. I don't know why. I mean, I don't really see the like, I don't know if that was necessary, but okay, that's what they're calling it. So yeah, you guys can read through all of these paragraphs and stuff, but I'm going to try to go through these fast. Otherwise, this video is going to be like an hour, 2 hours long. Anyways, new look environments. The rec has 5 new locations that randomly get randomized at the beginning of every rec game, which finally, we've been asking for this for years. It's about time 2K did this. And you see, they list the 5 different locations. There's a high school gym, an outdoor court, a private gym, crowded arena, in a season themed venue that's going to change every single season. So this is a huge W for rec. Now we don't have to worry about just, oh, did we get a new rec center? No, there's 5 different locations, and one of them is going to be changed every single season. This is a huge W for the rec community. The theater is even different. The theater is like outside or something. I'm going to show some pictures and some footage on the screen too of what the rec and the theater, the Ante Up and these seasonal parks look like. The Ante Up is fire. The Ante Up is on like a rooftop and it's outside. It has like skyscrapers. This might be one of the best stages we've ever seen. It's giving me like 2K16 stage vibes, to be honest. Huge W. Finally, we get a new stage. We had 2 years of the same stage the year before, and then before that we had like the 3 years in a row of the same stage. So finally we get a new stage, and it's looking really good, to be honest. And then when it comes to seasonal parks, they're adding new seasonal parks, and one of them looks pretty fire for the winter. This is like, almost looks like this is a Chicago park, and that's like Lake Michigan. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping, but this park looks fire. That's going to be one of the new parks. And then they have, of course, the throwback parks coming back. And instead of the 2K16 parks, they have the 2K17 parks. So 2K17 Rivet, 2K17 Old Town, 2K17 Sunset. And then they even have, like I said, new parks that are coming in there. So honestly, I think when it comes to the new look environments, this is a W. Like, they changed it up. There's nothing that's a copy and paste. And they finally added rec locations. We've been asking for that for years. Now here's another paragraph about the co-ed city. You can read through it, pause it if you want to, but basically what they're saying is you can pick a male or female build, and we'll get into more details on exactly how that works when we go over to the builder. It doesn't really change much. It's kind of just like an appearance thing, but if you pick a male build, you can play my career with it. You can play online city when it comes to park and proving grounds and theater and all that, rec and all that stuff, and you can play my career eras and all that stuff. But with the female builds, you can't play my career, which is weird. I don't know why they don't have that. Like 2K, why did you not just let the females play in the WNBA my career? I don't get why that's not a thing. Kind of confused why they didn't add that. I feel like that's kind of an L, but yeah, you can't play my career. You can't play my career eras, which you're probably like, my career eras. Yeah, that's going to be news. We're going to talk about that later in the video. You can only play city. So you can only play like park, stage, rec, proving grounds, theater, like all that stuff. Okay, so only in the city with female my players. Now here's another paragraph about crews. Apparently crews are supposed to be a big deal in 2K27. They're trying to really capitalize on crews and make them better. And basically, to sum up these paragraphs, there's going to be a crew HQ, right? And I would compare it to like Pro-Am's building, where you walk in, you can warm up, and they're saying you can warm up 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, or 5v5 in there, almost like it's like a my court. And then they say you can compete online and rank up, kind of like in proving grounds, through 3v3 and 5v5 modes. I don't know why they don't have 2v2 at least for crews, but yeah, I really think they should have added 2v2, but I guess there's no 2v2 for that. And then there's like ranked tiers and stuff where there's leaderboards, and in each tier you're competing against 39 other crews, and at the end of the season they put you in like a divisional tournament, and whoever does the best gets rewards and stuff. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but end of the season tournaments with your crew sounds super fire. Like imagine being one of the best crews in the world and you gotta face off against the 38 other best crews, and at the end of the season there's like a tournament bracket for rewards. Hopefully these rewards are really actually worth it, and hopefully this isn't just ran by cheaters, because we know that crews were just ran by cheaters and 2K didn't do nothing about it in 2K26. So hopefully they do something about it in 2K27. And they also said there's private matchmaking for this too. So Pro-Am leagues, money tournaments. This is a huge W for that side of the community, the 2K community that likes to do like those tournaments and those Pro-Am leagues. This could be where they do it, the crew private matchmaking, like kind of like 3v3 or 5v5 Pro-Am private matchmaking. So yeah, it really seems like they're really trying to promote crews. I'm just hoping they monitor it correctly, because this sounds all great, but guess what? If it's owned by a bunch of cheaters and you're not banning these people that are, you know, boosting or cheating in these crew tournaments, then what's really the point? Then there's a paragraph about something called daily rivals. I'm still confused after reading it. I don't know if this is like an offline, or I think it's an online thing, but I'm confused if this is like 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. Maybe I just didn't read it right. I guess it's just some kind of thing, kind of like the crews where you're competing against 39 other players, so a 40 player bracket type of thing that you earn rewards for. I don't know. I'm still a little confused on this. Maybe someone can explain it to me in the comments, because it didn't really make too much sense to me. Then they're talking about player medals and rep tiers. So they're saying there's 40 extra rep tiers giving us more rewards, and they're player medals. So like if you go on a 100-game win streak, you can put a medal on your player card and it can say, yo, look, I went on a 100-game win streak before, or look, I did this or that. Like I got 8,000 assists in the rec. So that's actually pretty fire. Hopefully they show off records in the intros too. Like the more they show off in the intros, the better in my opinion. But they didn't really talk about what the rep rewards are or anything. So hopefully they didn't just add more rep tiers and add just BS rewards that don't really matter. Hopefully these rewards are actually worth getting and good rewards. Then there's a paragraph about starting 5. I don't really care too much about starting 5. If you want to read through it, you can. Street Kings is, of course, they added Rucker Park to that. You want to read through it, read through it. Then they added something called Casual Corner, which is like kind of replacing the casual courts, but it's like its own mode. So this is like a new mode, and you can go in there based off your plate color. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know if there's really a purpose for this, because isn't every game mode that's matchmaking like this, where it just goes by plate color? I mean, I guess maybe because this is on like rookie and it's like practice for casuals, but if you're an MVP, like, I don't know, there's like CPU opponents and you can get rep through this. Like, why are you able to get rep through CPU opponents? I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I'm reading this wrong too, but yeah, I don't see the purpose in this mode. I don't know why this mode is in the game, but they added it, and honestly, it could be a little concerning potentially. Then they added, then the last paragraph is just them yapping about the whole thing that all the news we already just talked about with the city. So if you want to read over that, you can. Now, before we move on to gameplay, there is a screenshot here showing the reps. So there's rookie 1 to what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9 rookie spots? So there's rookie 1 to 9, starter 1 to 9, veteran 1 to 9, or what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there's 8 veterans, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 starters, 9 rookies, and then 8 elites and 8 legends. So yeah, there's elite, veteran, legend, starter, rookie, a lot more, and looks like the top 10 is back. We see the top 10 logos, see the top 10 players, so top 10 is back. Who knows what the rewards are going to be at all these levels, but yeah, they definitely added a lot of tiers here. All right, now let's move on to gameplay. So the first paragraph, they talk about gameplay here. They just mentioned pro play, and it seemed like when Mike Wang was going over all the gameplay stuff, that they were really keen in on like mentioning skill-based stuff. So they even mentioned that in the last paragraph too, which you're going to see. So it seems like they're trying to make 2K27 a skill-based gameplay. Now, starting with custom dribbling, this is crazy. This is a huge W. So basically, to sum this up, there's a whole list you can see here of different things that you can customize dribble packages for. So to summarize this, let's say, you know how Kawhi Leonard's behind the back in 2K26, like the standing behind the back was really good, but his moving behind the back or his running forward behind the back was bad. But like Scottie Pippen's running forward behind the back was really good, but his standing behind the back sucked. Like you can customize, okay, I want Pippen's running behind the back, but I want Kawhi Leonard standing behind the back, and put that into a package. So there is going to be a lot more creativity when it comes to dribbling in 2K27, because you're going to be able to customize all these dribble moves. So it should be really interesting. Like, I'm just thinking of the combinations right now. Even like SGA Escape, like the double flick, you can have that equipped and then have the regular flick be like the Paul George Escape. That would be an insane combo from 2K26. So yeah, customized dribbling, I mean, that is a huge W in my opinion. Then they talked about layups, and when Mike Wang was talking about these layups, I don't know how I feel like about it, because how he was talking about it, you can read it over if you want, but he's basically saying the higher your layup rating, the more likely, like if you just drive in and hold square X, it's going to give you like a good animation, and the offensive player that's doing the layup can basically adjust mid-air to get his layup off or something. So I don't know, it seems like it's just going to give you random canned animations depending on your layup rating. Don't know how I feel about that. Layups were really good in 2K24 with like scoops, floaters, reverses and stuff, so we'll see how they are in 2K27. Then when it comes to the dunk meter, you can read over this, but basically every time you go up with a dunk in 2K27, there's going to be a meter that pops up, even if you go up with X or square. So yeah, you're going to get a meter on everything. You're going to have to time all your dunks. Now they're saying that the dunk meter is like improved. I don't know, they say that like every year. In the last couple of years, the dunk meter was not nearly as powerful as it was in 24 or 23. So I guess this is going to have to be something that we have to test first to really see how crazy good or bad or mid the dunk meter actually is. They also talked about how there's some new mechanics. So I guess now there's like a no-look pass feature where if you hold R1 or RB and flick the pro stick towards where you want to pass it, you can get a no-look pass. And then there's like directional alley-oops, where like you can control the angle the alley-oop is thrown to. And then there's a new moving breakdown move where you flick up on the stick when you're running forward. There's different animations you can get depending on what moving breakdown you have equipped. So a couple different controls they talked about. And then they talked a lot about defense. Mike Wang was really going into defense, talking about how they reworked the whole defensive system and how percents are not in the game. So you know how you contest a shot in 2K26 and it's like 30% contested or 10% contested? It's not like that anymore. So some of the contests I saw, there was a heavy contest, solid contest, semi-open, open. So we don't get the percents anymore. I think that's an L. I'd rather get more info on my contest with the percents. And then when it comes to other defensive stuff, he was talking about how depending on if you go up or down on the right stick when you're playing hands up defense, you can get an aggressive contest where like you really sell out on the contest, but you can get beat on the drive, or like you just kind of have your hands up, but you're not really playing heavy on the contest. So I guess there's new mechanics when it comes to that. He also was talking about how block timing is super key, and I guess there's like a fake green window for blocks, even though there's not going to be greening blocks. But if you time your blocks right, like you click Y at the right time to go for a block, that you're going to get some crazy animations. And if you don't time it correctly, you're just going to completely whiff. There was also mentioned how there's skill-based ankle breakers, which is insane now. So ankle breakers have always been RNG, but now apparently ankle breakers are going to be like based off ratings and based off of how you read and react as a defender and how you, I guess, dribble the ball on offense. So I don't know, that should be interesting. So I guess if like I go from right to left downhill and the defender, you know, his left stick is all over the place, he read and reacts to that completely off, then I guess you're more likely to get the ankle breaker, right? And it's also dependent on the rating. So, you know, you have a low perimeter defense, it's more likely to actually happen. You have a high ball handle, more likely to actually happen. But there's also a bunch of other text to read over here when it comes to defense. They were also talking about how there's a new collision system where if you want to play aggressive bump-like defense, if you have the ratings to do it, you can really get a lot of bump steals and like force offensive players to pick up the ball. So, hey, maybe strength finally actually matters this year if this new collision system is really as good as they were saying it is. And then they had a bunch of paragraphs on AI stuff. I'll just let y'all read over this. They're basically saying they're trying to improve AI defense, a bunch of other stuff with the AI. So if you want to pause and look at that, go ahead and do that. They also mentioned the new takeover system where apparently there's going to be like every takeover, right? There's playmaking, there's shooting, there's defense, there's rebounding, there's finishing, and you can customize each of these takeovers on the ability and what stats go up. And then in game, you're going to have all these takeovers in the top right, and depending on what you're doing in game, gives you progress to that takeover. So if you're only dunking the ball, you're not going to get shooting takeover. You're going to get finishing takeover in that game. So I've heard a lot of people come up with this idea in the past. It's a good idea, and they finally implemented it into 2K27. Should be interesting to see how this ends up working. I think this should be a good idea, though. I think this is going to work out well. Now, when it comes to rhythm shooting is back in 2K27. Now, with how he was describing it, he was saying that you have to green the timing this year when it comes to rhythm shooting, and that the actual visual like timing of it gives you a more accurate visual representation on how to time the rhythm shot. But he was saying that basically it's gonna be completely reworked when it comes to how good it was in 2K26 compared to how it is now. And the vibe I'm getting is that button and rhythm shooting are going to be the same effectiveness, and it's just all personal preference. So hopefully that's exactly how it works in 27, because I feel like rhythm shooting was a little OP compared to button, but hopefully they're on like the same playing field going into 2K27. Another thing they were talking about is a new thing that you can do called step throughs. Now, obviously we all know what a step through is, but these seem kind of crazy. Like obviously you can step through to the basket, or you know, anytime you pick up your dribble, like I said, you can go to the basket, or you can shoot a jump shot off of it. So I wonder how easy or hard these are going to be able to guard, and how easy or hard it is to actually green these shots. Because hey, if you can get open on these step through shots, depending on the animations you get on these, and if there's like some crazy animations that create a lot of space, this could be an effective move in 2K27. And I also wonder how effective this is going to be on the 1v1 court. And here's another paragraph of them talking about the gameplay. And once again, they're mentioning skill-based stuff, more rewarding-based stuff. You guys can read over that if you want to pause and take a look. Once again, I'm not going to go over everything in full detail, because otherwise this video would be like an hour or two. But yeah, gameplay-wise, that's everything they said. Now, when it comes to the builder and all that stuff, let's go through this really quick. There's a lot of information to unpack, but we're going to try to go through it as fast as possible. Now, yes, we talked about the 2K demo, how you're going to be able to create builds a week before early access. Already talked about that. Let's go over all the badges, new and returning. Here's the shooting badges, what comes out to me. We're not going to go over every single badge, but One that points out to me is Quick Trigger. It's going to be a no dip badge, so I wonder what this is going to be like on Hall of Fame, on Legend, or just none at all, if you're even going to be able to no dip with no badge. The finishing badges, one that pops up is Ghost Stopper. We were talking about Collision, the new Collision system with gameplay. If strength is really good, the Collision system is really good, maybe this badge on top of that just makes it even better. Then we have the playmaking and defensive badges. Playmaking is basically a carbon copy outside of pace. I think that's the only new playmaking badge. And then when it comes to defense, I mean, a lot of these are similar to Seatbelt. Looks like an interesting badge when it comes to clamping up opponents. But yeah, definitely some badges to take a look at there. Then we have the rebounding and physical badges. Finally, they brought back the badge we've been needing, and that's Workhorse for loose balls. Been asking for this badge to return for a while now. There's some other interesting badges like Flash, and rebounding badges were completely reworked. There's a ton of new ones. Seems like they kind of separated like offense rebound, defense rebound, kind of like those Superman animations with that snatcher badge, giving the additional vertical and rebounding boost. So that might be a crazy badge on Legend. Definitely some badges to read over here, and these are going to be very important when it comes to making a build. They also talk about how there's a new builder path. They removed, I think it was the NBA template builds, and replaced it with signature blueprint builds, which is basically like cool build names that are based off a combination of 3 different NBA or WNBA players. And they also talked about badge loadouts. I don't know how I feel about this. This is reminding me of 2K23 and 2K20 a little bit when it comes to badge loadouts. I didn't really like it. You can read about it in these paragraphs. I don't know how I feel about this. They also talked about badge progression and rebirth. Of course, rebirth is returning. Gotta love rebirth. You guys can read over that if you want to pause and take a look. They also talked about badge tokens. So not only is there badge loadouts, but there's badge tokens, which is really what's reminding me of 2K23. I just don't know how I feel about that. It should be interesting. You're going to get a certain amount of set badges when it comes to playmaking, defense, shooting, finishing. I don't know. This is definitely going to affect how you make builds. Like, hey, what's the badge tokens going to be looking like on a 6'8" compared to a 6'2", or a 7-footer compared to a 6'10"? That's definitely going to affect how you make your builds. And they're talking about there's advantages and disadvantages to higher or lower height depending on your badge tokens, and then obviously just the height in general. Cap breaker preview. I don't know why this is a huge L, but you have to reach 99 overall before you can get the cap breaker preview in the builder, which is absolutely insane. I don't know why that's a thing. Once again, you can read over that. Female my players. So yes, female my players are in 2K27, and basically how they're going to work is they're just going to be kind of like an appearance thing. So you can pick female or my player. You can get the same weight, wingspan, height on a female as a male, same attributes, all that good stuff. It's really just kind of like a skin. Once again, you can read over that if you want. And then they talked about the My Player Builder intro here. They talked about the synergy system, which is kind of like those max plus 1s and 2s and how those are going to work. They talked about takeover progression and perks. So there's going to be perks like Accelerator, Longevity, and Overdrive. I remember usually Accelerators is always the best perk to go with. And honestly, I feel like that's just going to be the best perk to go with once again out of these 3. So yeah, I think everyone's just going to be using Accelerator. And then they had a last final paragraph when it comes to the My Player Builder, but definitely a lot of information for y'all to read over right there. So ending off with my career news, and honestly, this might be some of the best portion of the news in this video. I'm just going to get straight into it. So here's the first paragraph that they talk about. You can read it over if you want to, but I want to get straight into this, and that's my career eras. Now, I tweeted this back in 2023 about this idea. They finally implemented it into the game. The only thing I'm disappointed with is that I wish there was a 60s era. Like, imagine bringing your my player into like Bob Cousy's era and just going crazy and doing a bunch of stuff that they would have called witchcraft back in the day. But anyways, the eras they have is Magic versus Bird. They have the Jordan era, the Kobe era, the LeBron era, the Steph era. You can basically bring your my career in as a rookie and just start on one of these teams or one of these eras. You could be a part of the big 3 in Miami, make it a big 4, or you can join Jordan and Pippen's dynasty. Maybe join Shaq and Penny Hardaway. Like this is a huge W. Here's another paragraph of talking about its presentation and moments. I cannot believe they added this. I'm really not an offline player at all in any video games, but this would have me convinced to play offline Minecraft. Like, I'm not even kidding. I really think a lot of people might buy this game just because of this edition. Now, here's some more information about the Minecraft storyline, Fire and Concrete, talking about how you're a high school prospect, you commit to a college, and they're talking about Rucker Park, all this other stuff. And they're also talking about how there's co-op Minecraft. Now, this is giving me some Orange Justice vibes in 2K17 because you can like basically create this teammate based off other NBA players. So if you're like a point guard, you want like a Jokic type of player with you, you can literally create it in co-op Minecraft. Definitely going to want to go ahead and read over that paragraph. That is pretty fire. Once again, reminded me of Michael B. Jordan in 2K17. Here is another paragraph talking about it. They're going to call him, instead of Michael B. Jordan or Orange Justice, they're going to call it Trace, who's going to be joining the squad. So yeah, I guess that's what they're calling him in this. Here's more about the storyline when it comes to the NBA draft and key games. You guys want to read over that. And here's the last paragraph they go over talking about Minecraft. Hey, if you guys enjoyed the video or you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like. Let me know what you thought was good about the news, bad about the news. Overall, there's definitely some stuff that I am excited about, some stuff I'm a little disappointed in, but we'll have to see how it all comes down in 2K27. Appreciate y'all watching the video. And yeah, let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.